on an enslaved plantation. That means my grandmother, Sarah Mae Galloway, who we just recently laid to rest, God bless her soul, and her apple pies. She was not born enslaved. My father, born Keith Galloway Sr., born November 22nd, 1950, he also was not born on a plantation. And myself, Kelly Diane Galloway, born in Buffalo General Hospital, August 13th, 1985, I was also born free. Fighting human trafficking is personal to me. My ancestors were victims of human trafficking, bought and sold for labor, bought and sold for sex, bought and sold for medical experimentation, bought and sold for entertainment, as if their bodies were commodities. And so when people say, Kelly, why do you fight for freedom? I fight for freedom because I believe that I am, and the rest of the freedom walkers, are our ancestors' wildest dreams, what they prayed for the most. What would they have prayed for? I think they would have prayed to be free. I believe that when we are born, we have a knowing on the inside of us that knows that this is not how life is meant to be, that I'm supposed to be more, I'm supposed to be able to do more. And I think that's where we get the Harriet Tubmans and the Henry Box Browns and the William and Ellen Crafts. I think that's where we get the individuals who say, I'd rather die than to be enslaved any longer. But then you also have those who fear the unknown. They don't know anything else besides the plantation boundaries, and they don't know what it's like to be able to have a family that's not being sold and ripped apart. They don't know what it's like to have big Luthers that is not whose bodies are being used for boxing and entertainment of the oppressors. They don't know what it's like to be able to actually raise the children that they carry in their womb for 10 months and be able to nurture them on their own breast, because they're being destroyed and they're being taken away from one another. And I believe that not only am I an answer, and as well as the rest of my freedom walkers, I believe that not only are we an answer to prayer as modern day abolitionists, but I also believe that we're a manifestation of what their hearts wanted. We didn't come in their generation, but we came in this generation because slavery still exists. And that is why we are revisiting the Underground Railroad, because it was a network to freedom that led so many freedom seekers to safety, and so many freedom seekers to what they always felt like they should have had, which was the ability to make decisions on their own. But in order to end modern day slavery, we have to resurrect a new network to freedom. We need more William Stills and more Harriet Tubmans and more Myers families and more Mr. and Mrs. Smiths, and we need more individuals who are willing to make the fight for freedom personal. Because the truth is, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, if any of us are enslaved, that means that none of us are really free. And the simple principle of liberty is actually called into question. And so I'm excited that all of you have joined us for this very personal day for me. The reason why we are making our way to Buffalo to be back there by June 19th, which is Juneteenth, is because July 4th for African Americans is not our day of freedom. We were still enslaved. But June 19th, April 9th, and June 19th are days that represent freedom for people who look like me. You understand? And since Buffalo was one of the last stops on the Underground Railroad before people would cross over into Canada after the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act was passed, I want to bring that sense of freedom back to my hometown. We have the second largest Juneteenth celebration in the entire nation. Wow. An entire nation. And so we have people coming from all different parts of the world to celebrate with us that day. Our city is going to welcome us back. Other abolitionists and freedom fighters are going to welcome us back, because we believe that every victim of modern day enslavement deserves their own personal Juneteenth, their own day of freedom. So our walk is practical, our walk is also symbolic, and our walk actually costs us something. We have mothers and fathers, we have husbands and wives, we have business owners, we have sons and daughters and legal guardians of individuals who they are responsible for. So this walk costs all of us something, but the fight to freedom isn't free. It has to cost all of us something. So I thank you for listening to me today, and I hope that after you leave here today, you continue to ask yourself, like, what can I do to advance the fight for freedom? not just reflect on what it did in the past, the power of the Underground Railroad, but how can I be a part of the modern day Underground Railroad? Why? Because slavery still exists. I'm Kelly Galloway, and I'm excited to see and meet all of you.